another big move, a very aggressive move and a surprising one for this organization. You don't see them typically make these types of deals. The A's will be getting Starling Marte. Comes over from the Marlins. In exchange, they will be sending over Jesus Luzardo, who was one of their top prospects a couple years ago, but has really struggled this year. In particular, he had an ERA over 6 this year in the majors. They set him down, and he's still struggling in the minors. So there is the thought, do they just think that Luzardo is a broken prospect at this point and there's no getting him back? You have to think if they're being so willing to deal him for a player that's only going to be in their uniform for a couple months now. Starling Marte, Luzardo straight up. Do you think that this is fair value?
That's been my favorite deal so far that we've seen. I think this is a great deal for both teams. You have Starling Marte, an expiring contract. You want to wash your hands of him if you're Miami. Jesus Luzardo is a guy who was a top 10 prospect in baseball just a few years ago. Yes, a lot of people say potential has a shelf life, but I'm not giving up on him. He's 23 years old, I think. Left-handed upper 90s fastball. This is someone who can be a starter in the big leagues. Mid-rotation, a 2-3 starter, I think, when he's doing well, because it's just a couple years ago we saw him when he came up at age 21. He was looking really good. Worst case scenario, he's a filthy setup guy for you in the bullpen. So I think that's a project. Jesus Luzardo is a nice project for the Marlins to work on. And the Marlins have so much organizational pitching depth now. I'm talking about Sandy Alcantara, Sixto Sanchez, Trevor Rogers, Pablo Lopez, Max Meyer. Now you throw Luzardo into that mix. This is a team with as good of organizational pitching depth from a prospect standpoint as anyone I can think of. I mean, at the major league level, not quite yet. I mean, Trevor Rogers is really leading that charge. Give them a couple years, I think they'll have one of the best rotations in baseball. If not, they could always trade those pieces out, right? And then get something in return. As far as Oakland getting Starling Marte, I love it. This is a guy who's been underrated his whole career. An above average hitter, 31 or something, but he still has elite sprint speed, can play legitimate center field. What this does is that it gives them, their definitive starting outfield. It's going to be Laureano, Starling Marte, and then I guess that third spot is a bit open for Oakland. But Laureano and Starling Marte will start every single day. Mark Canha will start too, but he'll see some time at DH maybe once in a while. For example, if Mitch Moreland is they have Mitch Moreland, but he's not able to play really against left-handed pitching. That's where you might see someone like Mark Canha slide the DH or something like that. So I really like this move for both teams because this is as good of a prospect as the Marlins could have hoped for an expiring for 2 months of Starling Marte. I think that's a really good deal.
Definitely a great pickup by the A's to go out there and acquire Starling Marte. As you mentioned, he's been one of the better, I guess, all-around players. He hits for average, has a little bit of pop, steals bases, good fielder. He does a little bit of everything for the A's. So good pickup for them. And then, of course, gain back a talented lefty in exchange. Like you mentioned, the Marlins do have great pitching depth, and depth does allow you the luxury of being able to be a little flexible as you move forward. Obviously, all things considered, credit to the Marlins. They've been a sneaky organization. They had to go down bottom feeders, as they were calling themselves last year. And now here they are. They're kind of rebuilding, retooling, and there may be some good things down the line in Miami.